Hello and welcome to the 2021 CerryMarsh.com virtual new music reading session. I'm Kerry Marsh, and in this video I'm going to take you through excerpts of around 40 arrangements that are new additions to our catalog since last fall. I'll be starting with the lower difficulty level charts and gradually moving up to the most advanced new repertoire. I'll introduce each excerpt, and then you'll hear a clip of the demo and see the music on screen in case you'd like to pick a part and sing along, or else you can certainly just listen to the audio of the session. As always, don't forget that each and every one of these arrangements featured here have our Skytrax mixers available, which you can learn more about on the website, CerryMarsh.com, and of course, they all have studio demos, mostly sung by Julia Dollison and myself. And then the vocal part tracks, the -1 tracks, and the rhythm tracks that you've come to expect from us. All rhythm section charts also feature fully notated piano and bass parts, so I'll refrain from mentioning that for each arrangement we feature. They just all have them if they have rhythm section. And we also always try to make sure to have the chord changes written at the top of the vocal part, and that helps students know the context of the notes and the chords they're singing. And of course, I know as a director, it always helped me to have those chords during rehearsals so I could accompany and play along and talk about the theory. When you order from CerryMarsh.com and you make a payment with your credit card, you'll get everything delivered immediately through a download link, and you'll get an invoice sent as well. If you choose to pay by check or with a school purchase order, it just takes me up to a few hours to see your orders come in and manually send your links and the invoice to you, but it's also very quick. We have arrangements and compositions from a number of excellent writers other than myself, so in case you happen to love how our charts and Skytrax and part tracks happen to work for you in rehearsals, but you feel awkward about having too many charts with my name on them, I get it, that's fine. You'll have plenty of options in our Voices Beyond collection, which features music of David Von Kampen, Kelly Kuntz, Paris Rutherford, Peter Eldridge, Julia Dollison, Jarrett Johnson, and Alvin Chia, the members of Accent, and more and more and more. All right, let's get our session started today, appropriately enough, with music from our starter series. These are charts that are geared more toward less experienced groups, of course, and although we still aim for them to sound hip and exciting for the students, lots of extra attention has been paid to voice leading and other elements of the arrangement difficulty that will help bring new vocal jazzers into this great form of music. The first chart up today is a level 2 of George and Ira Gershwin's But Not For Me, and it's a floating and sweetly melancholy take on the great standard. And I'll be playing an excerpt of the SAB version, but we do also offer an SSA treble chart. There are no solo features in this one. It's entirely written for the ensemble, which can be handy for some educational situations, I know. The piano part can serve as the full accompaniment in the absence of bass and drums. And finally, you'll hear a brief wordless soli section that changes the texture a bit. Each part's soli line is carefully crafted for singability, but when it comes together, I think it'll sound more advanced than the chart really is. Here's But Not For Me.
With love to lead the way, I found more clouds of gray than any Russian play could guarantee.
I was a fool to fall and get that way. I wrote last and also like a day.
Although I can't dismiss the memory of his kiss, I guess he's not for me.
This swinging arrangement of the standard September in the Rain is arranged in 3 different voicings, SATB, SAB, and SSAA, all with careful attention to accessibility and voice leading, while giving developing jazz choirs plenty of material for working on their core jazz rhythmic and harmonic skills. A soprano-alto soloist is featured in spots with lyric solos, and there's also room for improvisation for either a vocalist or instrumentalist. The song's verse is included at the beginning, not in the typical rubato fashion, but it swings along with the rest of the chart. A half-chorus soli section is written, and most choirs will have minimal difficulty learning it, especially through the use of sky tracks or vocal part tracks. This arrangement would work well as a fun opener, or really anywhere in the middle of your program too. Here's a listen to the SATB version of September in the Rain.
My daydreams lie buried in autumn leaves. They're covered with autumn rain. The time is sweet September.
The place a shady lane.
I'm riding the wings of an autumn breeze back to my memories. The leaves of brown came tumbling down. Remember, in September, in the rain, the sun went out just like a dying ember. That September in the rain. To every word of love, I heard you whisper. The raindrops seem to play a sweet refrain. Though spring is here to me, it's still September. That's September in the rain. Da 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 da. Ooh, ba ba dee ba dee ba dee dee ah.
With this next chart, we're stepping out of starter series territory just for a moment, because the full SSATBB a cappella version of Scarborough Fair is better thought of as a level 3 chart, and you'll see in a moment why I've included it with the starter series section. Scarborough Fair has been one of my most popular charts from the past 20 years, and so I gave it a 2021 arrangement refresh, including a new demo and rehearsal tracks and sky tracks collection. Additionally, we're offering accompanied level 2 starter series SAB and SSA arrangements for groups who aren't quite ready to tackle this full a cappella 6-part version, and we'll briefly preview those in just a moment. But the a cappella arrangement of this classic English folk song is lush with reharmonization, modulations, texture changes, and groove changes to keep your listening audience interested throughout, and to challenge and engage the performers. No breakout solos are included in this notation, but various sections are given moments of the melody that will add to the variety. This one is tried, true, and renewed this year, and so we're sure your group will enjoy singing it.
Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of Tell her to make me a cambric shirt.
Parsley, sage, rosemary, and time without no seams nor needlework.
Then she'll be a true love of mine.
So now we'll go ahead and check out the starter series Level 2 versions of Scarborough Fair that are brand new this year, and they're written more simply in 3 parts with piano accompaniment to provide much of what's going on in the more challenging a cappella version. We'll start with the SAB voicing and then transition to the SSA halfway through.
Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there.
She once was a true love of mine.
Tell her to make me a cambric shirt, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Without no seams nor needlework, then she'll be a true love of mine.
This Matthew Chalmers arrangement, Matthew is the drummer for most of the rhythm section songs on our website, but this Matthew Chalmers arrangement of Helplessly Hoping is categorized as a dual-purpose SSA and SAB chart because the ranges should work well for both types of groups, although the sheet music is marked SSA. I just took a look at it, and it seems like absolutely the SAB groups could just assign the altos to sing the written soprano 2 part, and baritones could very comfortably sing the written alto part, which hangs out in a reasonable baritonish tenor range. Matthew's arrangement of this great Crosby, Stills, and Nash song stays faithful to the original recording while carefully handling chords in a way that vocal jazz groups and choirs will find easy to sing, particularly, again, with the aid of vocal part tracks and our other materials. The song tells the story of 2 people who seem to be destined to be in love, but things just haven't worked out yet. Thankfully, Stills's metaphorical lyric does a much better job at telling that story than, of course, my summary, but a chord symbols only chart is included for acoustic guitar. It's strange for our website. We don't always just have a guitar accompaniment. This song is special in that way, and to perform it appropriately in true CSN method, I guess this would be the way to do it. So for groups that really want that particular sound, this is going to work for you if you have an acoustic guitarist who can play from chord symbols. A pianist, though, capable of realizing chord changes, of course, could accompany your choir just as well on this. Here's Helplessly Hoping.
Helplessly hoping, her harlequin hovers nearby, awaiting a word, gasping at glimpses of gentle true spirit. He runs, wishing he could fly high, only to trip at the sound of goodbye. Wordlessly watching, he waits by the window and wonders at the empty place inside. Heartlessly helping himself to her bad dreams, he worries. Did he hear a goodbye? Or even hello? They are one person, they are 2 alone, they are 3 together, they are 4 each other.
Paris Rutherford's contributions to vocal jazz education over the decades have been far-reaching and highly impactful, and you've almost certainly heard or sung some of his great arrangements published by Hal Leonard over the years. This next new arrangement is from Paris, and it is published independently and featured at kerrymarsh.com. It's mostly SATB, with a few notes of second soprano in the closing bars of the chart. It's level 2.5, and it's a sweet, sentimental song by Peggy Lee and Johnny Mandel called The Shining Sea.
We loved the shining sea. She gathered seashells there for me. Her hands, I love her hands. We'd sit there on the sand. She'd kiss the hollow of my hand, a kiss. I miss a kiss. I hear the gray gulls cry. I see them tip their wings. I feel the pounding surf and other things. I can't believe she's gone. I think I'll go where she might be. I'll go. I need her so. I need our shining sea.
Continuing now with our starter series new additions, we have Say I Won't. This arrangement of the powerful song by the contemporary Christian group Mercy Me is arranged simply, but, if I may say so, effectively. It's funny when you read these descriptions and it's me talking about my own arrangement, but I think it works. It has no solo breakouts throughout, so it makes it a strong feature for traditional choirs as well as contemporary vocal groups. The fully notated piano part can stand alone as the accompaniment, and adding the bass and drums parts just, will give the piece even greater impact. The lyric was inspired by a friend of Mercy Me who lost all 4 limbs in an accident and successfully fought to recover aspects of his life that seemed impossible to regain. And the arrangement was commissioned in dedication to a student at Great Bend High School in Kansas. Incidentally, that is my alma mater. The student to whom this arrangement was dedicated lost the use of his legs in an accident, and he carried that same positive attitude into his own recovery as the man who inspired these lyrics for Mercy Me. So, from the point of view of the song, the narrator just dares anyone to doubt their ability to achieve their dreams in spite of great difficulty, making it a powerfully inspirational story for any choir to tell. So here is a bit of the new chart on Say I Won't.
Not enough is what I've been told, but it must be a lie, 'cause the spirit inside says I'm so much more. So let them say what they want. Oh, I dare them to try. I'm gonna run. No, I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna know what it means to live and not just be alive. The world's gonna hear, 'cause I'm gonna shout, and I will be dancing when circumstances drown the music out.
this next chart on the Stevie Wonder Ariana Grande feature, Faith, from the movie Sing, is actually available at Sheet Music Plus, and it's available for a greatly reduced flat fee of just $15. You pay the $15 one time, and then you can copy it for your group. So I hope that gives directors some budget room remaining to then come back to kerrymarsh.com and pick up the Skytrax Mixer package that also includes all the rehearsal tracks, the demo, everything. The song is a duet feature for treble and bass clef voices and alto saxophone and easy backgrounds for SAB choir. It was commissioned by Kennard Middle School in Colorado, and this version, it would work best for particularly strong solo singers that have some skills in a pop and R&B style. The solo may also then be split up among many different singers, each of them taking a small segment that works for them. The alto saxophone part has some supportive written figures throughout and is featured on blues choruses in A flat. So this chart should work very well as a closer in a younger group's program, and it's a lot of fun to sing. Here's Faith.
I got faith in you, baby. I got faith in you now. And you've been such a good friend to me. Know that I love you somehow. I met you. Hallelujah. I got faith. See the boy with the Stevie Wonder swag. Ain't got a clue of the magic that he has. He's a go-getter. He's everybody's type. I'm making my mission, make him feel alright. He's a 12 on a 10 point, rocking out to his joint. Just say the word, 'cause I can sing all night. I got faith in you, baby. I got faith in you now.
On Green Dolphin Street is one of the great standards of the jazz repertory, and this arrangement keeps a driving straight eighths groove throughout and uses mostly wide-open jazz harmony, a rhythmic motif in the vocals, and a cool electric bass figure as unifying elements. There's an opportunity for vocal or instrumental improvisation with some fairly simple vocal backgrounds to accompany, and the chart ends cold with the vocalists on a rhythmic stab, giving a nice surprise for your listeners. The chart comes in two different voicings, SATB and SSAA, and today we'll be hearing the first half of the head-in from the mixed chart, and then the second half of the head-in from the treble version. Here's On Green Dolphin Street.
Oh, my love, one lovely day, love came planning to stay. Green Dolphin Street supplied the setting for nights beyond forgetting. And through these moments apart, memories live in my heart. When I recall the love I found on, I would kiss the ground on Green Dolphin Street.
This arrangement of I'm Glad There Is You by Jimmy Dorsey and Paul Madeira was written by David Von Kampen, a prolific composer and vocal jazz director at the University of Nebraska, Lincoln, and one of the composers who's contributed the most to kerrymarsh.com, aside from myself, honestly. It's written in an SATB voicing with no divisi or solo features, and it's a highly flexible chart and should be successful with a wide range of choirs and contemporary vocal groups.
In this world of ordinary people, extraordinary people, I'm glad there is you. In
Next up is the Bee Gees' mega hit from the movie Saturday Night Fever. It's called How Deep Is Your Love? You might know it. And it's a treble SSA arrangement from Matthew Chalmers, who took inspiration from a Yebba performance. Great contemporary R&B singer right now. This accessible, fun, and hard grooving arrangement has a brief lyric solo feature along with space for a guitar or piano solo with vocal backgrounds. Some texture changes and a bit of reharmonization make Chalmers' take on this disco favorite a sure hit with your students and their audiences.
I know your eyes in the morning sun. I feel you touch me in the pouring rain. And the moment that you wander far from me, I want to feel you in my arms again. And you come to me on a summer breeze, keep me warm in your love. Then you softly leave, and it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Is your love? How deep is your love? I really mean to learn, 'cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. I believe in you. You know the door to my very soul. You're the light.
We now move to a set of charts that are at a difficulty level of 3, and later we'll get some level 3.5 charts coming in as well. Jarrett Johnson and Alvin Chia. Alvin, who is well known as the definitive a cappella vocal jazz bass singer from the group Take 6. Heard of him? Yeah. Well, together they co-arranged this 2021 Grammy-nominated arrangement of the African-American national anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. This arrangement was also the winner of the 2020 NAACP Lift Every Voice and Sing contest and was featured during the virtual celebration of the 57th anniversary of the March on Washington. The published edition of this arrangement has a voicing of SAATTBB, but I should note that this edition is also written in A flat, as opposed to the original, which was lower than that. This one is meant to better suit mixed voice ensembles, and the lowest note of the vocal bass part, because I know you're worried about Alvin Chia and the bass, it's actually just E flat in this edition, since not everybody has their own Alvin. So just some brief moments of DVC in the alto and tenor parts happen. Really, otherwise, it's really pretty much an SATBB chart throughout, with most of the, mostly 5-part DVC, just a couple splits in there. On the demo and on all the rehearsal tracks, you're going to hear Jarrett and Alvin singing, along with Julia Dollison singing the soprano part.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory. Victory.
When the Party's Over is the Billie Eilish hit from the 2019 album When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? And it's tastefully set here, if I may say so, for both treble and mixed vocal jazz ensemble groups, with some added harmonic colors and a bit of reharmonization. But the chart keeps the stark and lonely quality of the original recording. A soloist is featured with an E below a middle C as the starting pitch, so it would be best suited to someone who can capture Billie Eilish's unique approach while also possessing that low alto range of that low E. No drums are written into this chart. It's just keyboard and bass with the vocals. I presume most directors watching the video will have heard this tune before, but I guarantee you that your students know the original very, very well, and so they'll likely be pretty excited to sing it. We felt fortunate to get the license to sell this one, and we're pretty excited for you to hear it as well. This is we're gonna be checking out the SSAA version, which was the original commission, and it was written for Fairview High School's Age of Guinevere in Boulder, Colorado, directed by Janice Vlahos. Here's When the Party's Over.
Don't you know too much already? I'll only hurt you if you let me. Call me friend, but keep me closer. Call me back, and I'll call you when the party's over. Quiet when I'm coming home, I'm on my own.
And I could lie, say I like it like that, like it like that.
I could.
Yeah, I could lie, say I like it like that, like it like that. But nothing is better sometimes.
Once we've both said our goodbyes, and let's just let it go. Let me let you go.
In our next chart, Alicia Keys' 2003 hit If I Ain't Got You is given a seriously funky reimagining by Matthew Chalmers, whereas Keys' original version from her album The Diary of Alicia Keys is in a lightly swinging 3/4 meter. Chalmers decides to set this thing in a grooving 4/4 for both SSA and SATB voicings. Here we're going to check out an excerpt of the SATB version. Note that a soprano or alto soloist is featured, and they'll have some space to stylistically kind of stretch out a bit. So there's also a cool vocal vamp at the end of the chart, vocals and piano and bass, with a drum solo then happening over the top of that. Sounds great. Lots of hip syncopation happening throughout the chart. Just some really some nice ensemble writing, I should say, by Chalmers here. So here is If I Ain't Got You.
Some people think that the physical things define what's within. I've been there before, and that life's a bore, so full of the superficial. Some people want it all, but I don't want nothing at all. If it ain't you, baby, if I ain't got you, baby. Some people want diamond rings, some just want everything, but everything means nothing if I ain't got you.
Some people search for a fountain. The promise is forever young. Some people need 3 dozen roses, and that's the only way to prove you love them.
Oh, hand me the world on a silver platter, and what good would it be with no one to share, with no one who true?
The music of new grassroots singer-songwriter Sarah Jarosz is often surprisingly well suited to the beautiful complexities available to us in this space of vocal jazz ensemble music. And with Orange and Blue, David Von Kampen has harnessed those strengths in her writing style while also infusing his arrangement with his own highly identifiable personal arranging style. This version is written for SATB, except there's a brief baritone difficile moment in there as well. This one, although we've got it at a level 3, I think it's very approachable for developing jazz choirs. David has set this lyric with a very natural sounding phrasing that maybe looks harder to read, and that's kind of why we call it a level 3. But if you've got the demo and part tracks and all that, and the students can listen to that, I think they'll hear that phrasing really easily. And the rest of it is pretty straightforward. So it's going to allow them to use real good conversational storytelling, which of course is what we preach to our vocal jazzers. So I hope you enjoy it. Here's Orange and Blue.
I think I found it now, and nothing else will do. A heart that burns so true, burning orange and blue, orange and blue, orange and blue. I'm still kneeling by the water's edge. The sky is black and thunder rolls. But now I hold this heart within my hands, and I won't ever let it go. I think I found it now, and nothing else will do. A heart that burns so true.
Everything Stays is a sweetly sentimental lullaby that will be highly nostalgic for many students and listeners who have been fans of the hit animated show Adventure Time. The arrangement here features a soprano-alto solo and a brief vocal improv section and very singable ensemble parts, I think. And it will give your group a chance to work on using contrasting tones from light and airy at times to other times full and warm. The keyboard part can be played on piano if you'd like, or else you might look for a synthesizer or Rhodes keyboard to sort of create that type of magical ambiance that the arrangement is seeking to evoke. And I put a little instruction on the keyboard part to help people to isolate and find this particular type of synth sound. You can just go through the sounds on most keyboards and you'll find something with sort of a like ice castles kind of sound that this one uses. The chart does not utilize percussion for sort of artistic reasons, it likes that space. Been doing that more this year. However, certainly a drummer could easily listen carefully to the arrangement and play some colors and textures on cymbals, brushes and mallets and stuff to pretty good effect, if that's what you prefer. So let's take a listen to Everything Stays.
Let's go in the garden. You'll find something waiting right there where you left it, lying upside down. When you finally find it, you'll see how it's faded. The underside is lighter when you turn it around.
Everything stays right where you left it. Everything stays, but it still changes ever so slightly, daily and nightly, in little ways, when everything stays. To the ocean. The crystal tide is rising, water's gotten higher as the shore washes out. Keep your eyes wide open, even when the sun is blazing. The moon controls the tide, it could cause you to drown.
Everything stays right where you left it. Everything stays, but it still changes.
It changes so
slightly, daily and nightly, in little ways. Everything stays.
If You're Out There was a hit single from John Legend's album Evolver, and it was inspired by Barack Obama's presidential campaign. The song alludes to the Gandhi quote, "Be the change you want to see in the world," and still today the song's message resonates with hope for positive change in the future, even during very challenging times. This arrangement largely features an alto or tenor soloist, and it retains the pop harmony of the original song while adding some jazz-influenced chord colors. The energy builds to a very strong climax before gradually fading to a thoughtful, open-ended finish. The voicing on this one is SSAT.
If you hear this message, wherever you stand, I'm calling every woman, I'm calling every man. We're the generation, we can't afford to wait. The future started yesterday, and we're already late. We've been looking for a song to sing, search for a melody, search for someone to lead. We've been looking for the world to change. If you feel the same, then go on and say, if you're out there, sing along with me. If you're out there, I'm dying to believe that you're out there. Stand up and say it loud. If you're out there, tomorrow's starting now. No more broken promises, no more call to war, unless it's love and peace that we're really fighting for. We can destroy hunger, we can conquer hate. Put down the arms and raise your voice, we're joining hands today. Oh, I
was looking for a song to sing.
I searched for a leader, but the leader was me.
We were looking for the world to change,
but we can be heroes. Just go on and say, if you're out there, sing along with me. If you're out there, I'm dying to believe that you're out there. Stand up and say it loud if you're out there.
Next up, we have Cheesehead. And, it's a wordless vocal chart based on Dave Glenn's composition for his Little Big Band on their album called Journeys. A post-bop, modal, fast, swinging tune with an offbeat name. Cheesehead can work great as an opener or closer for your program, and it features plenty of solo space for improvising vocalists or instrumentalists with accessible chord changes that have wide open spaces. The voicing used in this chart is SSAATBB. Me From You was composed and co-arranged by my good friend Christine Tavares Mocha, the accomplished director of choirs at Valencia High School in California. This song speaks to the first-hand experience of students in the spring of 2020 as the emerging pandemic suddenly separated them from their friends and their teachers. Of course, the last school year we just finished placed many or all of the same restrictions on the same communities, and those memories will likely be fresh even when we're hopefully next year back to more of a regular rehearsing and meeting routine in this coming school year. So I do believe this story will remain rather poignant into the near future because of the memories of what we just went through. The arrangement features brief lyric solos for soprano or alto vocalist, and the piano and bass only rhythm section leaves room for the nuances in the vocals to fully emote and tell us this important story. This is another one where I didn't write a drums part because it just felt like we wanted to leave a little acoustic space. So there you have it. This chart is voiced SSATB.
When there was no space in between, we'll look out the window and you'll see me smiling, standing out on the street, just to catch a glimpse of you and see you smiling through the pane of glass that separates me from you.
This arrangement of the classic Elton John ballad, Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word, was written to function well as a fully a cappella piece, if you like, but it also has a piano part that can add a nice layer of color if you prefer that. Julia Dollison is heard on all the parts of the demo, and her technical strength and expressive clarity, I think, will be a great example for your choir members when they're listening to the part tracks and the demo. Some surprising moments of reharmonization pop up in this chart, and there's a lot of variety in the texture. We're featuring each section as well as a lyric soloist on moments of the melody, and all these things kind of keep the arrangement interesting for the choir and the listeners from count off to cut off, as we say. Intensely powerful vocal moments in this chart are contrasted with gentle and soft sections, allowing you to feature your group's vocal control and emotive range. Those folks who have enjoyed our other recent Elton John title, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, And there are a lot of you out there, because that was one that a lot of folks really got into. I appreciate that. Well, those folks will, I think, find this chart now to be especially exciting to put together. The concept of the commission was someone who liked Goodbye Yellow Brick Road and wanted more that was kind of like that. And essentially that's what we went for in some ways on this. So I hope you enjoy. Sorry seems to be the hardest word.
What have I gotta do to be heard? Whoa, what do I say when it's all over? When it's over, sorry seems to be the hardest word. Oh,
It's sad, so sad.
Oh, it's a sad, sad situation.
And it's getting more and more absurd.
So sad.
It's sad, so sad.
Why can't we talk it over?
Always seems to me that sorry seems to be the hardest It's sad, so sad.
Oh, it's a sad, sad situation.
And it's getting more and more absurd.
Next, we'll be featuring the Gloria movement from Justin Binnick's vocal jazz mass Missa Lucis. Each movement of Binnick's Missa Lucis is performable by both vocal jazz ensembles and traditional choirs, and the full mass will be featured at Carnegie Hall in the summer of 2022. Gloria is written with an SATB voicing with rhythm section and a featured soloist of any voice part. Now, I should note that if you can purchase the full mass of Missa Lucis at kerrymarsh.com at a discount, or you can pick up any of the individual movements that you'd like to perform. So here now is the second movement of the Missa Lucis, Gloria.
Gloria, in excelsis Deo. Gloria, in excelsis Deo.
Glory to God in the highest, and peace toward will to men.
Lord God, heavenly King, Almighty God and Father, we worship you, we lift your name, we praise Gloria, in excelsis Deo. Gloria, in excelsis Deo.
Domine Fili unigenite Jesu Christe Domine Jesu. Miserere nobis.
Miserere nobis.
Use Me, Bill Withers' 1970s classic tune, is one of the steadiest grooving tunes of its generation, I would dare to say, and it's arranged here to feature both the ensemble and an alto or high tenor soloist on the lyric, as well as a brief moment of R&B style lyric improv. The rhythm section parts are driving and consistent throughout in their support of the vocals, and after the chart builds up to an exciting climax toward the end, it winds down to a hip, quiet finish. Written with no piano accompaniment throughout, This arrangement's texture feels like kind of a pseudo a cappella approach, which leaves space for the SSATB ensemble vocals to really shine. I shall tell you, though, there are chord changes, of course, written in to the chart throughout, into the vocal and the bass parts. In case you'd like to add a chording instrument, that would be totally cool as well. You could put acoustic guitar or something on this, have a pianist play who can realize chord changes. So, multifaceted chart here on Use Me by Bill Withers.
I wanna spread the news that if it feels this good getting used, oh, you just keep on using me until you use me up. Until you use me up.
Just keep on using me until you use me up. Until you use me up. Na 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 na. Whoa whoa. Ba-da-da-ba-da-ya. Da-ba-da-ba-da-way. Da-ba-da-ya.
Spring is Here, the beautiful Rodgers and Hart standard, is arranged here in a lush and tender bossa nova style. The ensemble is the focus of the song's delivery, as no lyric solos are featured, but a half chorus of improv space is included for a vocalist or instrumentalist. The lyric tells a familiar story of the arrival of spring, while the speaker can't quite fully embrace its beauty due to their sadness and the love missing in their life. You know how that goes, right? This voicing that's used here is SSATB. Hope you enjoy.
Spring is here. Why doesn't my heart go dancing? Spring is here. Why isn't the waltz entrancing? No desire, no ambition leads me. Maybe it's because nobody needs me. Spring is here. Why doesn't the breeze delight me? Stars appear. Why doesn't the night invite me? Maybe it's because nobody loves me. Spring is here, I hear. Whoa, whoa, whoa. La da 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 da. La da 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 da.
The super groovy Al Jarreau tune, Never Given Up, comes to life in a new way in this vocal jazz ensemble arrangement, featuring brief solo spots for either a baritone or soprano alto singer and some fun ensemble writing, if I do say so myself. The song moves between sections of 16th note funk groove, and samba feel throughout, which is what the original does. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun for groups to put this thing together. The voicing we used here is SSATB.
That I had missed the chance of a lifetime. And by the way, I tumbled with romance, and I won't cry.
But now I'm searching every star, searching near and far. Till I find our one spirit flying high, flying high. I'll never give it up, never gonna give it up, even when this life is over. Never give it up, never gonna give it up, even when this life is over. Never give it up, never gonna give it up, even when this life is over. I'll be content in time. Content in time, never giving up. And so today, I think I'll take the chance of a lifetime. Oh, and by the
We now feature some music from Peter Eldridge of the New York Voices in the form of his moving arrangement of I'll Be Seeing You, one of the timeless standards of jazz repertoire. We have an I'll Be Seeing You arrangement on our website at kerrymarsh.com already. That one is based on the Cassandra Wilson version. It's a little more avant-garde and spacey and spacious and, out there and reverby, and I dig that. I really dig Peter's new arrangement. I'm so happy to have the opportunity to present it here. His arrangement features SSATB vocals with piano-only accompaniment. We'll be listening to a temporary demo recording here, as the demo that we're going to be using for part tracks and other materials will have been recorded after I put this video together. This chart has almost entirely 4-part vocal writing, with a soprano divisi on just the last chord. And there's a brief alto solo that you're going to hear in a moment, Rosanna Eckert singing. Here is I'll Be Seeing You.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through.
In that small cafe,
The park across the way,
the
children's carousel, the chestnut tree, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
Okay, we're now moving into level 4 material. Everybody buckle up. Julia Dollison, you know her? Well, she is an accomplished arranger as well as a solo jazz vocalist and educator, and you may or may not know her as the lead soprano in Vertical Voices, and most relevant to this session, she's the most prominent voice you've been hearing on nearly all of these demos. In fact, the temp demo we just played on Peter's chart is one of only, I think, 2 that she's not singing on in this particular session. Well, Julia has written a beautiful new arrangement of the Juno Award-winning vocalist Laila Biali's composition called Satellite. And the lyric is poignant for a time when many of us have felt like we've been wanting to connect with our loved ones on a deeper level, after being far away all this time. The lyric kind of speaks to that. And this arrangement is SSATB, and hope you enjoy Satellite.
The August light is funneled through the window cracked as I drive to your satellite. You signal me, it cuts across the galaxy,
And it goes yaddy 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 yaddy.
'Cause there's a long way home to you. The engines whine above my head, transport my thoughts to where you lie in bed. Your clouds outweigh a distant sea, so I will chase Orion's dream, and I will fly.
Here's a potentially strong swinging opener for your set, and it's Happy Talk from South Pacific. It's an arrangement I based closely on the Nancy Wilson Cannonball Adderley recording from 1961. This is a medium up-tempo swinger with some improv space and just an uplifting feel throughout that should give your jazz choir something to be happy about. The head out on this one builds to a big finish, including an intense vamp figure. And I should say that this one in particular, although it's categorized as a level 4 chart, I really do think the part tracks and other materials will really help groups that might otherwise shy away from level 4 arrangements. So I don't know. I think this is when you could push it a little bit. If you normally get level 3s and you're still checking out this session, Happy Talk might actually work pretty well for you. In fact, a lot of these level 4s, I think, end up playing like level 3s that don't have part tracks. So just so you know. Anyway, here is Happy Talk. This chart is in SSATB.
Happy talk, keep talking, happy talk. Talk about things you would like to do.
You gotta have a dream. If you don't have a dream, how you gonna have a dream come true?
Talk about a moon floating in the sky, looking like a lily on a lake.
Keep talking, happy talk.
Talk about a bird learning how to fly, making all the music she can make.
Happy talk, keep talking, happy talk. Talk about things you like to do. You gotta have a dream. If you don't have a dream, oh,
How you gonna have a dream come true? But
This is an a cappella arrangement of High and Dry, inspired by the Jamie Cullum recording of the song originally by Radiohead. With a steady groove, hip voicings, and jazz reharmonization, this chart serves as a solo feature throughout for a baritone or tenor soloist. The soaring melody in the chorus is accompanied by equally lofty ensemble voicings, and plenty of dynamic contrast will allow your vocal group to show off their musicality and artistry. So the voicing on this chart is SSATBB. Enjoy. Don't leave me dry. Drying up in conversation, you will be the one who cannot talk. All your insides fall to pieces. You just sit there wishing you could still make love. They're the ones who hate you when you think you've got the world all sussed out. They're the ones who spit at you. You'll be the one screaming out. Don't leave me behind. Don't leave me dry. Don't leave me behind. Don't leave me dry. La 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 la. An adaptation of the Kurt Elling recording of the mega hit from 1987 by U2. This chart on Where the Streets Have No Name features moments for a baritone lyric soloist a la Kurt Elling, as well as space for a vocal and guitar, keyboard, improv. The ensemble writing supports with lush and dissonant voicings and soloistic phrasing, all with careful attention to voice leading, as always. The piece has an exciting climax before it dissolves into a more subtle ending, and it would work really well in your other spot. You know, you have that other spot in your programming. If you got an intermediate to an advanced level vocal jazz group, this could be that sort of fourth slot in your set to do something different and interesting and you know, maybe modern and poppy. The voicing used in this chart is SSATBB, and this chart can be found at sheetmusicplus.com if you want the sheet music, which you will eventually, but it's found inexpensively there because I hope that you'll then come back to kerrymarsh.com and buy the Skytrax mixer package that has all the rehearsal tracks and everything else to just make it go really smoothly in your rehearsals. The students practice their parts at home. They use the Skytrax mixer to play around with their own tracks. Tons of fun. Do it. Here's Where the Streets Have No Name.
I wanna feel the light on my face. I wanna see the dust clouds disappear without a trace. I want to take shelter from the poison rain. Streets have no name.
Where the streets have no name. Where the streets have no name.
We're always building and then burning down love. Burning down love. But when I go there, with you, it's all I can do. The city's flood, and our love turns to rust. We're beaten down and blown by the wind and trampled into dust. But I'll show you a place high on the desert plain where the streets have no name. Where the streets have no name. Where the streets have no name. Building and then burning down love and tearing I'll go there with you. It's all I can do. All I can do. I'll go with you.
Composed by the Canadian Celtic singer Lorena McKennitt, Mummers Dance has its roots in a centuries-old tradition in which a roving band of costumed actors travels and puts on performances for people throughout the land. McKennitt's lyrics speak of the beautiful natural settings in which these mummers would live and work, and the musical landscape here features both sustained and open sounds and exotic melismatic figures that would normally be played by period instruments. This arrangement features a breakout treble clef soloist with some modern reharmonization included to employ more of the vocal jazz ensemble aesthetic, and also has a polyphonic wordless development section that increases the energy of the piece before it winds down at the end, as if the mummers have moved on to travel to the next village. This is another one of those arrangements that's available for purchase at sheetmusicplus.com, and then we hope you come back to kerrymarsh.com to pick up the Skytrax mixer package that has part tracks, -1 tracks, and the rhythm tracks, and the stems if you're going to record. These Skytrax mixer packages, they all have stems, so if you want to put all of our recording stems in your project and then replace our vocal tracks and everything with your own players, that can be a great way to do it. People did a lot of that while they were doing distance learning and putting together virtual choir projects. So here is Mummers Dance.
And you are dressed in ribbons fair. When owls call the breathless moon in the blue veil of the night, the shadows of the trees appear amidst the lantern light. We've been rambling all the night, and sometime of this day, now returning back again, we bring a garland gay.
J.D. Walter's beautiful and tender composition, Dressed in a Song, is arranged here in a 4-part a cappella setting, fit well for both traditional choirs and contemporary vocal groups. Walter dedicated this piece to his adopted mother, who took him in at the age of 1, and as a musician herself raised him with a love for music, which he learned could be his escape from the troubles of the world. J.D. was quoted saying about this song that he says, "She nurtured me musically and helped me find my space of intimacy as a sensitive child." And you can see that in the lyric. A few brief lyric solo moments for baritone or tenor are utilized, and the ensemble supports wordlessly in those moments, as well as in the introduction and a sweeping development section halfway through. Rubato approach would be best in live performance guided by a conductor, I think, but the piece is notated in such a way with mixed meter, phrase extensions, and other techniques that, and you'll see that in the demo here, even performing or recording the arrangement using a click track should give the phrasing a natural flow. So I hope you enjoy the J.D. Walter tune, Dressed in a Song.
Love came dressed in a song, tender you cared for me, like I was part of you, couldn't do wrong in your eyes, seems like my second chance was not by chance at all. Warm like late August skies, gently you took my hand, showed me the secret of how I could fly far away, floating on melody into your sheltering hands.
There was a calling deep inside me. Thoughts seemed to drown in melancholy.
Harness emotions.
All right, drum roll please. With this next arrangement of On the Sunny Side of the Street, we are now featuring charts written at the scary level 5 difficulty. That's okay, they're not that bad. So these are suited, though, for more experienced and skilled vocal jazz ensembles, as you know, at either the high school or collegiate level, or, semi-pro community groups. Level 5s, especially when you have the tracks, you can get it, but you do need some students with some technique and some chops and experience to really fully get into all the kind of harmony in level 5s, as you probably have noticed over the years. So this next one, it's an exciting, hard-swinging, pleasantly surprising, I think, arrangement of On the Sunny Side of the Street, and it features a treble clef lyric soloist along with space for vocal and instrumental improv. The introduction trades bars, as this is what you're going to hear is the intro. It trades bars between the drummer and the vocalists in short bursts of thick chord writing on the melody, before then changing keys and digging into more of a straightforward head-in. That's actually where we fade this thing out, so you have to listen to the whole thing on my website. Solo backgrounds, a soli section, and a final big key change into a shout section close out this chart with kind of a wink to the audience. This one should be a blast to sing for a fairly experienced group of singers.
Grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worry on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side, the side of the street. Can't you hear a pitter pat? And that happy tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street.
I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade. Oh, but I'm not afraid.
This rover crossed over. If I never have a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street.
Grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worry on the doorstep.
The Cole Porter standard, Just One of Those Things, swings in this chart at a burning 248 beats per minute, with an intense and edgy modal harmony structure and an ensemble focus for most of the chart. A brief alto lyric solo and space for a scat solo are going to break up the texture, and a high-energy big band style ending with space for a drum solo underneath the ensemble makes this chart a surefire closer for an advanced level vocal jazz group. Give it a shot. Here's Just One of Those Things.
It was just one of those things, just one of those crazy flings, one of those bells that now and then rings, just one of those things. It was just one nights, a trip to the moon on gossamer wings. Just one of those things. If we thought a bit of the end of it when we started painting the town, we'd have been aware that our love affair was too hot not to cool down. So goodbye, dear, and amen. Here's hoping we meet now and then. It was great fun. It was just one of those things.
It was just one of those things. Just one of those crazy flames. One of those bells that now and then rings. Just one of those things. It was just one of those.
The international a cappella vocal jazz mega group Accent seemingly has more amazing arrangements in their repertoire than you can possibly count. And I think this next arrangement from, I mean, you could count them, couldn't you? But there's a lot of them. Sorry. This next arrangement from Andrew Kessler is, I think, a real standout among Accent's repertoire. Twilight is a beautiful Kristen Korb ballad with deeply rich harmonies throughout the song. And the voicing for the published edition is basically two on a part, SSAATTBB. Here's Twilight.
Faded dreams floating out to sea, whispering to me, oh, where are you when the day is through? Twilight over me, searching the skies, hoping for light. Where is the sun? I'm lonely tonight. Somewhere when shadows fall around you, you'll see twilight too. Dreams of love that will never be.
This a cappella arrangement of the 12 Days of Christmas starts innocently enough in a semi-traditional style, but as the days move on, all sorts of new musical styles, modulations, harmonic and rhythmic oddities start to make their way into the arrangement until it really becomes a bit of organized chaos. This challenging chart will surely impress your skilled choir's audiences, and it'll give them a few laughs as well. Yeah, if you make it to the end of it, if you listen to the full demo on my website at kerrymarsh.com, you will hear what I'm talking about with the laughs. Anyway, the voicing used here is SSAATBB. Have fun and buckle up.
Gave to me
5 golden rings, partridge in a pear tree.
On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love gave me 6 keys to lay in, and 5 golden rings, yeah. 4 calling birds and 3 French hens, 2 gentle partridge in a
Of Christmas time, my true love gave to me 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, and 5 golden rings. Partridge in a pear tree. 8th day of Christmas, 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 my true love gave to me. 8th day of Christmas, 8th day of Christmas, then she gave me 8th day
the sweet leaves say excuse me.
Well, it is about that time, as you will see, that the timeline is getting close to the end of this video. But before I play you the last chart on this reading session, I just want to thank you. Seriously, you've made it this far, and I want to thank you sincerely for listening and maybe singing along a bit today and participating. But I really, really appreciate you checking it out. I hope you've learned about some useful and fun new literature that you can try out. I do want to make sure and thank my partner in everything, my wife, Julia Dollison, whose voice on these demos and constant musical inspiration to me is completely invaluable to what I do as my part of this venture. I want to also say thanks to all the contributing arrangers at kerrymarsh.com, as well as the composers and publishers that graciously work with us to license all of this music so that we can make our contributions together to the body of work of vocal jazz ensemble music. It's very important to me and to us that we're able to add our contribution to try to keep this music just alive and thriving for all time. I will end this session by playing one full arrangement. We'll listen to the whole thing on this one. This one was a special one that I wrote for one of my best friends in the whole world, and Curtis Gazer, and his Folsom High School jazz choir. He asked me to write an a cappella version of The Very Thought of You that would be as emotionally powerful as possible. And I have to say that I'm proud of how this one came out in both the chart and in the recording. The first half is written like, rubato ballads that have always been a part of this kind of music that we love. Although I've tried to help the director a bit with the rubato phrasing, as I've mentioned other times, by using multimeter in phrases, like I tend to do. The second half of this chart brings in a second sub-choir that can be split off from the full ensemble. And so this SSATB sub-choir adds some new rhythmic layering to increase the depth of the soundscape that we're trying to create here. There's a lot of development harmonically and rhythmically in this closing section, and I hope you enjoy it. And perhaps you've got a choir of the right size and skill level to tackle this one live. And if you do, I want to hear it. I want to know how it goes. This is a one that's close to my heart and Julia's as well. Here is my level 5 arrangement of The Very Thought of You. And once again, thank you for listening.
Till I'm near to you, I see your face in every flower, your eyes and stars above. It's just the thought of you, the very thought of you.